This video will demonstrate how to install the Hansshow new gear column and control column for your windshield wiper, headlights, high beam, as well as your drive control. So what you want to do first is attach these drive column to the adapter, and you want to connect it where these screw holes line up, and these will allow you to install this on the Tesla Model 3 Highland, Model X and S refresh. So once you attach this control gear column back onto this adapter, you want to tighten it up with two screws that are provided. So these two screws line up together with the gear column or drive column, control column, and you align that with the adapter. So on the right side, you do the same. There's two columns, the one on the left and the one on the right. They all line up with these adapter, and you want to tighten this up with the two screws that are provided. So to tighten up the screw, make sure you use a manual screwdriver or a torque screw and hand tighten it first before you use the tool. Don't use an impactor, that may strip the plastic. So you want to tighten this up and torque it to the strength you feel like the least resistance. And once you've done that, go ahead and go into your Tesla display under control and safety, turn off the power. Once the power is off, pry open the side column cap on the dash. So these are the cover that will give you access to the adapter where you will plug in this gear column and lever control. So once you remove that, remove the bottom trim as well and disconnect the ambient lighting as well as the speaker. So you just want to push your fingernails on the top and pull out. If you don't have fingernails, use a small screwdriver to unlatch the clip. And you do the same for the speaker. Once you remove that, go ahead and remove this trim and put this aside somewhere safe. And then pull out this rubber weather seal, and this will be easy to put back in. Then pry open the door seal right underneath between that rubber strip. And once you remove that, now you need to remove the steering wheel. Using two flathead screwdriver, there's a hole at 8 o'clock on the steering wheel column and 4 o'clock on the steering wheel column, right behind the actual wheel itself. This allows you to remove the airbag. Don't worry, when the car is stationary, the airbag won't deploy. There is a wire behind there. Detach that wire by using the flathead screwdriver. You also want to disconnect this burgundy wire as well. Once you remove those two wires and the airbag, go ahead and use a 10mm socket. Place it into the center bolt, and using a breaker bar, go ahead, have somebody hold the steering wheel, turn it counterclockwise, use a little strength until it loosens. Make sure you be careful while you're turning counterclockwise not to hit yourself or the windshield itself. So once you loosen this bolt, it does require a little strength. So having somebody hold the steering wheel is ideal. You can always hold it with your knee. And then once you loosen it, go ahead, hand untighten it by turning it counterclockwise, and then take out that bolt. Wiggle the steering wheel, rocking it back and forth, left and right towards you. And this should loosen it enough for you to pull it out. Be careful not to hit your face with this when you're yanking it back. Once the steering wheel is off, go ahead and pry open the steering wheel column. So you want to pry open the top. There's 4 clips, and then you want to detach this wiring harness. Then unscrew the 2 torque screw at 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, and this 2 screw you will reuse later. So once you remove those, you can actually detach the bottom cover of the steering wheel column by pulling it towards you and then down. And now you have full access to the steering wheel column. Next, remove the bottom trim underneath the steering wheel and the column right where your knees are at for the driver's seat, and this will allow you to fish the wire later. So you want to remove this actual cover itself and put it aside. Next, go over to the passenger side seat, and from the A-pillar of the passenger side, you will be looking for a gray connector. Using the actual harness that comes with the kit, go ahead and plug the white to the gray, so male, white to gray, female, and attach that harness. Then you will remove the OEM small plug, the white plug. So remove the male white plug. Once you remove that male white plug, you will be using a U-loop connected to the actual device harness and plugging the actual Tesla OEM white male plug into the white female plug, and then loop it using the kit male plug it back into that small connector. Then you will be fishing this wire harness through the center console. So using a fishing rod, go ahead and tape it around on the other end of the actual harness. So you want to use electrical tape. Try not to use any other tape other than electrical tape. You can use the vinyl one or the fabric one, it doesn't matter, but tape the end of the actual harness to the fishing wire. So the fishing wire, you pull that through from the drive column through the center console over to the passenger side. It does require a little navigating around, so make sure you have some flashlight, and if you have an extra hand on the other side, you guys or girls can help fish through the wires through the center console. And this is the most difficult part of this whole process. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. Once you fish this through to the driver's side, fish it through the drive column, the steering wheel column, and pull it through the top of the bottom cover of the drive column. Again, be patient, work through the fish wire, and once you have it pulled through, don't try to yank it. If you have any issue, if you feel like it's stuck, pull it back the other way. So once we have the wires over, now you can go ahead and attach the column on the left and the right. So the left is for the windshield wipers as well as your high beam, and right side is your drive column. So once you have it lined up and it fits in here, it should fit in here perfectly, go ahead and put back on the screws and tighten this up. So there's screws on top of each of the column. You want to make sure that these are tightened up, hand tighten. Don't use a impactor, that will potentially strip the plastic. Take your time with this and make sure the screws are lined up correctly. Hand tighten before you actually use the torque screw or screwdriver to tighten this up. Then you have a couple on the bottom as well, so make sure you also hand tighten this. And once that is done, go ahead and plug in the wires. So each of the column has its own connector, but it is one harness that comes through that splits up. So once you plug in, you will see the light, amber light, lighting up on the back side of the actual column or gear selector. And tuck away the wires. And once you're done, go ahead and clean up the area and place this cover back on. So you start from the bottom, everything in reverse order. You slide up and back in to the drive column. So take your time with this. Don't force it. If you feel like the wires is blocking the cover, go ahead, use your other finger to push it into the actual sleeve itself. Take your time with this and make sure you do it correctly. And once it's fully in, you can go ahead and attach that clip and then work your way to the top. So make sure you screw back the bottom cover bolts and using hand screw, hand tighten it before you actually use a torque screw or screwdriver. Then now place the top cover back on and clamp it down. This 2-column shifter does come with this extra cap for a clean OEM look. So one on each side, you snap it on, and then now place the steering wheel back on. And this is a yoke steering wheel also available, and we'll post a link in the description of this video where you can find this yoke from. Use the 10mm bolt to tighten up the center of the steering wheel, and then torque it to 40 to 50 pounds. That's the specification. If you don't have a torque screw, just tighten it with your arm strength. Don't over torque it. Then now plug the burgundy wire and the yellow wire back in and push the airbag back in. The horn should honk once and you're good to go. And that is it for the installation process. All the other panels can be put back on. It looks absolutely amazing, and these are OEM designed to fit your Model 3 Highland, future Model Y Juniper, as well as the X and S refresh. So it's available for all. If you're tired of using the haptic feedback switches or non-switches on the actual wheel itself and you want physical levers, these are the way to go. So you can control your windshield wiper by a push of a button, and also spray your windshield wiper with windshield fluid. You can also flash your high beam, again using the lever. The switches on the steering wheel still works, but this is more of a traditional lever and column if you're used to that. And also your signal, left, right, instant turn on and off. Again, this are levers from Tesla designed for your Highland. And also your drive mode, you can put it in park, reverse, drive, neutral. It works instantly, just as if you had the original Model 3, Model S and X as well. You can see you can actually turn your wheels once you put it in drive. Flawless design. If you're interested in this product, check it out. Link in the description of this video.